You know when you see one of those youth performances, the energy, the lights, the polished routines? It's awesome, right? But what if I told you that the real show, the most important part, happens way before the curtain ever goes up?
See, the real story isn't about that final perfect trick. Nope. It's about all those quiet moments, the struggle, the practice, the little breakthroughs that happen in some random school gym. That's where something way more profound than just a circus routine is being built.
And that really gets us to the heart of what we're talking about today. How does someone actually go from I can't to I can? We're going to dive in and break down the science of building that kind of deep, lasting confidence, the kind that sticks with you for a lifetime, not just for one performance. Okay, so where does it all begin? It all starts in this one single, really crucial moment. It's that moment when a young person looks at something and it feels completely, utterly impossible.
I mean, think about it, right? A kid sees someone juggling or balancing on a globe, and what's the first thought? It's almost always, whoa, no way I can do that. They're worried about failing, looking silly in front of their friends, and that hesitation, that's the raw material we're working with here.
So, what's the psychological secret sauce for getting past that doubt? Well, it's something a researcher named Albert Bandura called a mastery experience. Now, this isn't just, winning or getting something right. It's so much more specific. It's succeeding at something you were absolutely convinced you couldn't do. And believe me, that distinction is everything. So here's how it actually plays out. First, you've got the doubt. Then comes the struggle, the fumbling, dropping things, trying again and again. But then you get a breakthrough. Maybe they catch the scarves just one time, or they balance for just a single second longer than before. It's small, yeah, but it's real, it's tangible. And that one tiny success, it flips a switch in their brain. It creates this brand new belief, hey, wait a minute, my effort actually makes a difference. All right, so let's follow this because that little internal shift, it creates this massive ripple effect. It totally changes a young person's whole approach to learning and putting in effort. It really is like flipping on an engagement switch. And you can really see that change here. On one side, you have that disengaged mindset that says, ugh, why even bother? My effort doesn't matter. Challenges feel like threats. But after that mastery experience, it just flips. The engaged mindset says, oh, effort is how I improve. And all of a sudden, a challenge isn't a threat anymore. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to see what you can really do. And this isn't just some vague feeling, Research shows it boosts all three key parts of engagement. So emotionally, they're feeling pride. They're actually enjoying it. Behaviorally, they're showing up, they're focused, they're committed. And cognitively, in their brains, they're practicing how to concentrate, how to set goals, how to solve problems. This idea connects perfectly to the amazing work by Carol Dweck on what she calls growth mindset. The whole idea is that when you start to believe your abilities aren't just fixed, that you can actually grow them with effort, your whole world of possibility just cracks wide open. And not just in the gym, but in, everything. And this is where that ripple effect really starts to gain momentum. Because that newfound confidence, it doesn't just stay in the gym. Oh no, it follows them right back into the classroom, and it has a direct, totally measurable impact on their grades. Get this. Decades of educational research have shown something pretty incredible. A student's belief in their own ability to succeed, psychologists call it self-efficacy, is one of the single strongest predictors of how well they'll do in school. We're talking math, science, reading, you name it. But why? What's the connection? Well, it's pretty simple. Belief changes behavior. Students who are confident, they're not afraid to tackle that tough math problem. When they get stuck, they keep going instead of just giving up. And if they mess up, they see it as just part of the process, not some final verdict on how smart they are. And those are the exact behaviors that lead to real learning. So here's the key takeaway. The mental muscles they build learning a physical skill, they're totally transferable. The perseverance you need to finally learn how to juggle, that's the same perseverance you need to grind through a complex equation. The patience it takes to master a whole routine is the same patience you need to write a good essay. And that ripple just keeps on expanding. This confidence, it doesn't just change how they see themselves or their schoolwork, it actually changes how they interact with every single person around them. A strong sense of I can do this is really a cornerstone of what experts call social-emotional learning. It leads to healthier relationships, way better communication, and it makes someone much more willing to step up and be part of a team. And this chart shows exactly how that works in practice. I mean, collaboration isn't just some abstract idea here. It's literally spotting for a teammate, physically trusting that they've got your back. And leadership, it just emerges. A quiet kid might suddenly take charge of coordinating the group's routine, not because a teacher told them to, but because for the first time, they felt capable of it.
Okay, so let's zoom out and bring this all home. We've seen how one single moment of breakthrough can create these ripples through students' engagement, their grades, their social skills. But the impact goes even further than that. It's actually setting a foundation for the rest of their lives.
This whole journey starts with one of those small mastery experiences when you're a kid, but it builds momentum. As a teenager, it leads to being more engaged in school. Then, as a young adult, research shows it's connected to higher rates of going to college. And for the rest of your adult life, it's linked to better careers and just stronger emotional well-being overall.
So let's be absolutely clear about this. Confidence is not just some soft skill. It's not just a nice to have. The evidence is overwhelming. It is a protective, foundational asset. It literally helps shape the entire trajectory of a person's life. When you boil it all down, it comes to this one simple, powerful truth. The circus stuff, the juggling, the balancing, that's all just the vehicle. The real product is belief. Because when a young person starts to genuinely believe in themselves and their own potential, everything else becomes possible. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. That incredible, transformative moment, the one where you do something you thought was impossible, it doesn't have to happen in a gym. So my question for you is, where can you, or maybe someone you know, find that next opportunity to turn I can't into I did?